And then I'm also working with the other spectrum with a lot of autistic kids, families that have ADD and ADHD. Just by getting them involved in growing their own food, they start eating it. And guess what? We see their behaviors change. That is so exciting. I am just besides myself because I see the power of nutrition, but until I actually see it with my own eyes, I don't believe it. And that's pretty sad as a practitioner. I know food can be medicine and medicine be food. Sometimes I forget that. And it's easy to think, just take this drug or just do this or do that. Start with the food that you're putting in your body and you'll see things change.
Brother, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start today. Today we're here with Troy Albright, now owner of True Garden, premier vertical aeroponic food farm in Mesa, Arizona, compound pharmacist. I love the combination there. And high-tech solar power greenhouse facility expert, educating, empowering people to grow their own food with Tower Gardens. Troy, buddy, I'm so excited to talk to you because gardening is not only a passion, it's something I've done for decades. But the biggest thing that I pride myself in is the quality of my soil. I've got minerals. I've got the right bacteria. I've got everything. And so hearing about you, it's exciting. Okay, because if anyone's curious, the times we're in, they are a changing. And the more independent you are, and you can grow your stuff on a balcony. Share your story. How do you go from being a compound pharmacist to a vertical farm expert? That's difference.
Isn't that something, Dr. B? I mean, we're both integrative healthcare practitioners, so we're always trying to figure out, well, what's the missing link? What's causing these health issues? And the first 50 years of my life, I really thought meat and potatoes and corn was the way to go because I was from Minnesota and that's what we ate. We thought corn was our vegetable. And so I've struggled with gut issues all my life, even my kids. And we were farmers and we had black soil in Minnesota. We had actually beautiful black soil. And here in Arizona, we don't have this black soil. It's this clay stuff. 9 months out of the year, it's perfect to grow outdoors. And then 3 months of hell, if you want to call that 122 degrees of temperature. So it's hard to grow anything outdoors. And so one of my customers, patients on the pharmacy side, because I do alternative medicine, goes, "Hey, Troy, I've got a perfect solution for you to grow your own food. It's just like compounding." I looked at her, growing foods like compounding. I'm just like, okay, this lady has lost it. But she was actually correct. She goes, "Look, you can control your seeds. You can control your water. You can control your environment." She goes, "It's just like compounding. You control all the ingredients you use to make your final product." And she was absolutely right. And so 10 years ago, I thought we were going to have these food issues that we're seeing today, food sovereignty, just like we're experiencing, in some parts of the world, like Canada. A head of lettuce is $10 a head during the winter time. Well, actually, in the summertime, it's $10. In the wintertime, it's $15 for a slimy head of lettuce.
Wow.
Can you imagine paying $15 for a head of lettuce? That's ridiculous.
That's insane.
That's how it all started, Dr. B.
Wow. Okay. Now, your facility, okay, you're talking next generation farmer without soil, 90% less water. I mean, this should be like revolutionary. How did you develop that? This is literally, you've got greenhouses in Arizona that you're conserving water.
Yes, exactly. Because your biggest commodity worldwide is going to be water. Without water, we will cease to exist. So when I saw this prototype, 12 years ago, I told my patient, her name was Nicole, I want to put a greenhouse here. So we started with a little greenhouse in our backyard, a very Victorian greenhouse. And we started with 12 towers. And we grew so much food. It's like, I cannot believe this. And so my wife and I said, well, let's bring it to the community. And we already had the pharmacy on the property here. So I got a permit to build a greenhouse. Well, actually, I couldn't call it a greenhouse. I had to call it a translucent warehouse because it's not agricultural here, it's commercial. So it's ironic. I had to build this thing, something called a translucent warehouse. And it's a 5,000 square foot greenhouse. And we wanted to show that you could grow here in the food desert using these vertical tower gardens, food. If we can do it here in the desert, we can do it anywhere in the world. Because 73% of the world is a desert? I mean, that's a lot. So we built this prototype, and now it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years almost to the day that we've been growing in our greenhouse year round. And we're easily growing 10 times more food vertically than horizontally. And then we're doing it year round. Unlike when we were doing it in Minnesota, you might be 6-7 months. And then Mother Nature always messed with us.
Wow. Okay. Food sovereignty. Okay. A lot of people, they've been going to the American supermarkets and they have like 20 choices. Okay. Yeah. That's not going to be happening in the future. Can you expand more, share more on that topic?
So as our food system becomes more polluted, as you were talking about the soil that you're growing in, the plants are taking up all the things they need, and then they leave behind all the bad things in that soil. And, as we grow our own food at home, every 6 months, I take that topsoil out and then I replace it with new organic soil. But, as a farmer, we never did that. That would be cost prohibitive. To scrape off the top 6 inches of soil and put 6 inches of new soil on. So what we would do is we'd plant clover on that field, leave it feral for a year, not do anything, just let the clover grow. And then we'd say it's ready to go that next year, that it has everything again in it. Well, we know that's not true. All the heavy metals, things that those plants didn't want, are still in that soil. Even with crop rotation, we know we were still having a buildup of different heavy metals and petroleum type products and things like that. So we know if you can grow your own food in your own house, you're going to really have a much better chance of enjoying all the different varieties of plants, herbs, leafy greens, and herbs that you'd love to eat on a regular basis that actually will give you health, quality of life.
That's revolutionary because I've done talks in North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, and there's not year-round farms up there.
Correct.
It's cold half of the year.
Yes.
And so you go to the market and you're getting organic produce. It's not organic.
Correct.
Wow. That's mind-blowing. Okay. Now vertical farming, 90% more food, 90% less space, water without pesticides. What are like the power requirements? Does it use a lot of energy?
That's a great question. When you look at the amount of energy, you just have one pump that's in there, and it's only running 3 to 5 minutes on, 12 to 45 minutes off. So here in Arizona, we see it adds about $3.50 to your electric bill for one tower. If we have the lights on, it adds about another $3. So you're about $6.50 per kilowatt hour, or per day, I should say. So about $6.50 to run your tower on a monthly basis.
On a monthly basis.
Make sure I get my numbers right here. So that's minimal compared to the amount of fuel and diesel. And you think of all the plastics that we'd be saving, our carbon footprint. It's traveling from your tower to your table, and then it keeps growing and growing its own life cycle. So you think about your own carbon footprint. So for those of us that are really trying to be green and save on that, even the USDA is talking about how all this dark leafy greens, they're publishing studies showing these dark leafy greens are not only losing about 50% of their nutritional value because they've traveled on average about 1,500 miles to get to our plate because they're traveling in this cold, dark truck. So they've been harvested and they've lost their 50% of their nutritional value. Plus now we're seeing increases in levels of arsenic and other heavy metals because of what's left behind in the soil. So it's really interesting. You don't have to be a chemist to figure that out.
How long did these towers last? Like how many seasons can you get out of them?
So these towers are going to be a lifetime product. So the towers I have in my greenhouse now, I've had them for 10 years. There's only one moving part, and that's a pump. So they may oxidize. The polycarbonate plastic that we use has gone through FDA testing, so it doesn't leach into your food. So it's gone through this testing, so it may oxidize, turn a little yellow, but it's not affecting the quality of the produce, and it's a lifetime product. It's warranted for 5 years, the tower and the pump, and then if you do purchase lights, those lights are warranted for 3 years. So we're trying to bring the possibility of growing your own food, doing your part here in the United States, because if 20% of us grew our own food here in the US, they would stop importing all this stuff from other countries. There would be no reason for them to do that. And 20% is not very much. And that's what I'm excited about with you and your listeners. They're very conscious about health and what they put in and on their bodies. And it starts with food. I firmly believe it starts with food and that gut-brain health. I mean, you've talked about it where our guts are second brain. And if that gut's functioning properly, then it tells the brain to function properly and signal properly. So grow your own food. This is part of the solution. And that's how I'm looking at it.
If people understood, I mean, in World War II, in England, they had victory gardens because they couldn't get food. They had to package up the food. And then they were telling people after the war, tear down the victory gardens because the farmers weren't getting, people enjoyed growing their own food. And this is such a brilliant idea. You could have a balcony and have a couple of towers. I mean, exactly. You could just live in an apartment, and if you're producing, a couple of heads of lettuce, that pays for it a month.
Correct. Correct.
It's mind blowing. Okay, now, how can we start growing our own food with a tower garden system, like seedlings, things like that? What do you need to start?
So the system comes with everything you need to start. So for those of us that want to grow from the seeds, it comes with a few varieties of seeds and growing medium, as well as a 3-month supply of the nutrients as well. So it comes with everything you want. We also, when I say we also, True Garden, which is the company I own and grow seedlings, we ship seedlings all over the United States. And that's something that I want to make sure we offer to your listeners, that anybody that buys a tower from you, they're going to actually get a free set of seedlings from us. And that way we'll jumpstart them so they can see how easy, simple, and fun this is to grow your own food.
Okay, that's one of the greatest shares that you got. I mean, when we're looking at, people that have never grown anything, you've got the system that's just cut and dried. It's literally fill it with the water and the minerals and, plug it in. If you got sunlight, you don't even need the lights.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, this is so simple. You don't have to have a green thumb. I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm from Minnesota. We were farmers. I can grow anything. It's just ironic. I mean, some people, want to know what it can't grow. Well, you can't grow tubers, potatoes, root vegetables, trees. But again, this can grow all your leafy greens and herbs year round in the comfort of your own house, your own apartment, your own yard. And it's so simple. A third grader can do this.
What about small fruits like berries, strawberries, tomatoes? Is it possible?
Yes, we can grow those kind of berries, everything from tomatoes, strawberries, cucumbers, peppers, zucchini, squashes. I've done watermelon. So again, you can grow a lot of those types of fruiting crops as well.
Okay, just know that, I mean, out of my garden in the springtime,
yes,
we've got 3 people living at my house. So, and we're getting at least 3 meals a week out of that garden, where it's continuous production. And I've just got a regular old house. It's not like acreage or anything. To put it in the vertical, I could feed the neighborhood. I mean, literally, that's just mind blowing. Then the seedlings, okay, because I know people can purchase the seedlings and there's a seedling offer. How do you pack them? I heard something about coconut husks or.
Right. So there's a lot of people that are still using rock wool, but I've chosen to use a natural product that's actually certified organic, and it's made from the coconut husk. I mean, this is a byproduct that gets thrown away, tossed aside, and it's sustainable. You can throw it in your garden. It's going to replenish itself. It's going to break down. So we use coconut coir, which is a coconut husk, and that's what we grow those seedlings in. And then we use organic seeds as well. So the seeds that we use are been certified organic, and also they're being tested for disease too. So nothing genetically modified is going to be allowed. Again, that's another thing we could spend hours upon talking about, foods that are getting genetically altered. Our goal is to keep the foods as simple as Mother Nature made them. And ultimately, that's how our body needs them. It doesn't need to have something that's been, genetically modified. So our goal is to keep it simple and have fun doing it.
Now the water that circulates in there, what is it? Like, does it have to be distilled? You add minerals to it, or how do you get the whole thing set up?
So when you look at the water, it's designed to work with tap water. And here in Arizona, we have really, really hard tap water. I mean, the water is very, very hard. Mm-hmm. So on the commercial side, we use a reverse osmosis and clean that water up. You don't have to use a reverse osmosis, but the cleaner your water, it's going to taste even cleaner. So that's the first thing I can bring a chef in or anybody into my greenhouse. First thing they notice is how clean it tastes, the flavors. This is how my grandmother's garden tasted. So these are flavors that you probably haven't tasted in a long time because the produce in the store doesn't have it anymore. And it reminds me of when I took my kids to a 5-star steakhouse here over Christmas, and they love Caesar salad, Dr. B, and they take 2 bites and put their fork down, and I go, "What's the matter?" And my daughter's a PA, a physician assistant. She's 27, and my son is 23, and he's studying to become a broker. So they've grown up the last 10 years eating this perfectly clean produce, all their lives, the last 10 years. So that's all they know. And I go, what's wrong with the Caesar? And my son goes, well, try it. And I try it, and it tastes like dirt. I mean, literally, it tastes like dirt. So we've become salad snobs because when you start growing your food, then you know what's being sprayed on it. You know your environment. You know the quality of water you're using. I mean, it doesn't have to be reverse osmosis, but if you clean it up, it's going to taste even better. So it's a simple where you add the water, add nutrients. You have a simple little pH test. You don't have to be a chemist like me to test your water, and you're off to the races.
Fantastic. I'm uber excited about this. Okay, now you work with people and you've got some success stories. Can you share some of those? Because I want to get the person that's scared to death of growing. They've killed every house plant they've ever had. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I know you've worked with people like that.
Oh gosh. I have 80-year-olds that have never grown anything in their life, and they're buying towers and growing their own food. And I look at some of these 80-year-olds like, why are you doing this? Well, they're like, just because I'm 80 doesn't mean I'm not going to have another 20 years of life, and I want to have quality life. And they inspire me to keep growing and eating this clean food. When I see these old people that I think are old, as I'm approaching 60 here myself, that old number keeps going up. And so when I see these 80-year-old men and women growing their own food, that it really excites me. And then I'm also working with the other spectrum with a lot of autistic kids, families that have ADD and ADHD. Just by getting them involved in growing their own food, they start eating it. And guess what? We see their behaviors change. That is so exciting. I am just besides myself because I see the power of nutrition, but until I actually see it with my own eyes, I don't believe it. And that's pretty sad. As a practitioner, I know food can be medicine and medicine be food. Sometimes I forget that. And it's easy to think, just take this drug or just do this or do that. Start with the food that you're putting in your body, and you'll see things change.
Brother, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. It's true. And what's interesting is, people are always looking for what's the special diet I take for psoriasis? What's the special diet for this? And I say, look, you're going to just eat the same way your great grandparents ate. Seasonal, organic, free from preservatives, natural, because that's 10,000 generations. And with you could do this on your balcony in any type of square footage.
Exactly.
Troy, this is just fantastic. Okay, now, do you, my audience has got to be able to follow you. We've got to share your message and stuff. How can they follow you? How can they learn more about special offers? Do you have YouTube videos, a website?
Yes. So we have a big YouTube presence because we're constantly trying to educate people. I'm really an educator. If you said just educate people day in and day out, I would love that, because the more I can educate you to grow your own food, to take control of your own health, you will have a healthier life. And if you start at a younger age, by the time you're my age, there's no reason you can't live to be 100, 120 and have quality of life. That's the problem. It's the quality of life that we're not getting because of the chemicals and the food exposure. So we're on YouTube, True Garden AZ, as well as we have a website, truegarden.com. Even with your listeners today, get in on your website and order in a tower. We're excited to give them seedlings that are already sprouted and ready to go. So all they have to do is plug and play. And if they need to, they can come to a class. We offer classes on how to grow. At this time, we're charging about $35 for that 2-hour class. But you'll leave feeling confident that you can do this yourself, no matter what age you are, whether you have a disability or not, autism. I mean, we're really wanting to focus on helping people so as they get older, they have this quality of life, they have food sovereignty. I mean, that's so important now, and we're missing the boat by not offering this to people.
What sizes do your towers come in? I'm sure all that's listed, but
yes. Well, behind me, let me figure out how to turn this thing around. Let's see here. Turn around. Well, here's some sampling of tomatoes that we're growing. We have tons of tomatoes coming from our greenhouse right now that you can also do. But let me pan around. This is actually the learning center. So we've got 2 different towers. We've got, should I go vertical on this or stay horizontal?
Oh, this is good. This is good. Okay. Yeah.
So here's the home tower, and it's got a smaller base. It's actually 24 inches in diameter, holds 13 gallons of water, has a little indicator here on what your water is. And this tower here is called our home tower, and it has 16, regular growing ports. And then on top here, 16 baby green ports. So this is 32 ports. And this is our juicing tower. We just got this one going. And we always tell people, grow a tower with a purpose. And so this is juicing. So in this section, all the things that have lots of anti-inflammatory properties we're growing here. And we're constantly giving these a haircut every 5 to 7 days. The ones down here in the other bigger spots, we're actually going to start harvesting in 21 to 26 days. Things grow super fast because you have your water and nutrients in the bottom here. This is where you put your water and nutrients in there.
Wait, did you just say harvesting within 21 days?
Yes. When you have a seedling that's 2 to 3 inches tall like this, most of your produce you're going to start harvesting in 21 to 26 days.
Nuts. That's like double or half the time.
Correct. And that's all with most of your leafy greens and herbs, some beautiful Swiss chard. And so again, this model has the lights on it. They're LED lights that have their own timer. It's a great system. Who doesn't have 2 square feet in their house to start growing? It's very, very simple. So then let me show you.
16 plants and you're harvested in 3 weeks.
Exactly.
Wow.
So here's a tower that we've got beautiful lettuce, muir lettuce. I mean, look at that. This is 26 days old. It needs to be harvested. I didn't want to harvest it until we actually showed your viewers what's going on. Some beautiful Swiss chard, one of your most highest antioxidant plants you can grow because of all the different colors. In Minnesota, this is dandelion here. I don't know if your viewers can see that.
Yeah.
Beautiful dandelion. We thought this was, a noxious weed, but it's very good at detoxing you.
Yep.
Edible flowers, beautiful edible flowers coming here. I love different cabbages. Look at this cabbage that's forming.
Fantastic.
We got a determinate tomato plant here that we've been growing for a while. Some small little tomatoes on there. again, different peppers. You got celery here. Again, those that are really into juicing and detoxing their body, you can use celery, cilantro. I mean, all these natural detoxers that you put in your diet, and that'll allow you to start detoxing your body just using natural plants.
You just blew my mind. Cabbage takes so much room to grow if you're growing on dirt. I mean, you need like 18 inches for that. And this is growing out of that little 2-inch like opening there?
Yes, it is.
My God, that is so cool.
Yeah, about 55, 57 days to grow. But once you taste cabbage that you grow in your own power, you'll never buy it from the store again.
Yep.
Here's a big chart. You've got the flex tower on the right there, and that has a 30-inch diameter, but that holds 20 gallons of water. So those that are growing outdoors, we recommend doing the flex tower. That has 20 grow ports on it. And so you're growing 20 different things to full size. And again, it's 30 inches diameter, so 2.5 square feet. And so it's a little bit bigger. There's dollies that you can get for it, but it comes with everything you need to get started. Just a little list of everything you have there. And again, we have plenty of videos on our YouTube channel. Our goal is to show people how to do this. You can put a little extension kit on it as well with the same pump.
I got to tell you one thing too. A pest and like deer, squirrels, I have to put big, sheets of corrugated metal around my stuff to keep the animals out. That would be so easy to protect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very easy.
Yeah.
And again, we don't really have issues with animals. I know even my cats that I have at home, they leave the tower alone as long as I don't put catnip on there. If I put catnip on there, they're all over that tower. So it's really interesting to see. And if I see birds on the tower, then I know I've got some insects going on there. When you grow outside, you can easily just wash that tower down a couple times a week, give it a little shower in the morning. And if there's any insects that have landed on it, they just wash right off. So again, a natural way to take care of pests on your tower. You can do that in your garden even, Dr. B. Give it a little shower a couple times a week, knock those pests down. Since we're not using soil, we have a lot less bugs to deal with. Even though they're part of our environment, and without those bugs, we don't survive either. I mean, we need the bug, even though they're obnoxious, especially the 6-legged kind that my wife does not like. So
I know I use bugs for, I get ladybugs, I get praying mantis, so I can keep the aphids under control.
Aphids are going to be your biggest nemesis. And, here I'm using IPM, Integrated Pest Management Programs. And when I started out 10 years ago, I was doing that. And I'm getting ladybugs and I'm getting lacewings and colomanis. And my restaurants were complaining about it. My traditional customers that were walking and buying the produce, they weren't complaining because they knew what they were. I educated them. But in the restaurant, they didn't want any type of bug. They didn't care if it was a ladybug or not. And I'm like, I get all excited. You found a ladybug? Yeah, that's great. And they're like, well, no, it's not great because we don't want any bugs. And I go, well, this shows you that I'm not using any chemicals that kill that kind of stuff. So it's really a misnomer. We're wanting plants that have no bugs. Well, then you're using these harsh chemicals. So it's sort of an oxymoron, isn't it? We don't want bugs. And you think of all the foods that we eat, they're allowed so many parts per either million or billion of bug parts in them. I mean, you can Google that. And if you don't think you're eating bugs, you are eating quite a few body parts of bugs. And I don't want to gross your viewers out, but without those bugs, we don't survive either.
We don't survive. In fact, if the bugs are going to eat it, it's going to be good for you. Joni Mitchell, give me spots on the apples, but leave the birds in the trees.
Exactly. Then you're not using harsh chemicals. Really, really exciting time, though.
Troy, this is exciting. Okay, I'm definitely going to order one of your towers, and because this is chiropractic, sailing, and passion, or my passions. Okay, and my wife, I love her too. This is going to be, I've got to try this. Hopefully we can do part 2 because you're describing, I know there's going to be a ton of comments when this goes on.
Yes.
And we'll put it on, all our media. But man, click on the links below. Follow Troy, sign up for his YouTube website, whatever. But man, this is food sovereignty, organic, healthy, better for the planet, better for your family, better for you.
Exactly. That's a great summation of it. So yeah, can't get it any better than this, Dr. B.
God bless you, brother. Do you have any final words? Because I enjoy the heck out of this.
When you start eating food you grow and you taste the nutrient value, that's what's important about our produce, and that's what it's missing. The nutritional value in our food is dropped to an all-time low, and we've seen a rise in the amount of chemicals to control bugs, weeds. I mean, if we're spraying these weeds with these chemicals that are harsh to the bugs, ultimately they're going to be harsh to us, especially over time. So I'll challenge everybody to grow their own food. You will see that you'll be healthier. Your longevity will happen. I mean, you can talk about telomeres. We'll have other episodes where we can talk about our telomeres, our anti-aging, and how to keep our telomeres long. I mean, that's exciting too. It starts with the food and the products that you put in and on your body. You do those first baby steps, start with the food. You'll see your body correspond. You'll get healthier. You'll live longer. You won't be going to the doctor and getting put on medications that are just Band-Aids. That's what I got my degree in as a pharmacist. Those are Band-Aids. These medications are just Band-Aids. We need to figure out why you're having this health issue. And it all goes back to nutrition. That's where it starts.
Well said. Troy, thank you. Doc, this is amazing. Thank you for your work. Okay, you're making a difference. And we're going to promote the heck out of you because this is incredible.
Sounds good. So if they'll buy a tower off your link down below, and then once they get their tower, they can send an email to support@truegarden.com. We'll contact them, and then we'll actually help them select the seedlings that they want and that they would love to grow themselves. So they'll have a head start, and that's up to $120 value. I've never offered this to anybody, but I'm so excited to work with you, and I see what you're doing and how you're changing lives and people. This is an incredible relationship. I wish I would have met you years ago. I mean, I'm missing these kind of practitioners that really value quality of life. And I look forward to an incredible relationship together. And where this goes, this is an exciting time. But ultimately, the people that we can affect, they will be healthier by growing their own food. So this is an exciting time to work with you.
God bless you, man. I'm looking forward to it. You're making a difference.
Thanks so much.
Take care, man. I'm looking forward to the next meeting.
Sounds good. Take care.